She collected bottle tops to provide a meal at 7 years of age. Broken fingernails and the sun upon her back, that was her wage. And as the wind blows, the dirt between her toes tells her story. Just an ordinary day, with her childhood stripped away, no joy, no glory. Ah, there's a woman in the street, sells her body to make ends meet, to feed her baby. Oh, that's what's going on a different street. The stand-up guy, and everything in life was his to gain. But addiction took control, and all the dreams he built was washed away. For the price of flying free, he became an enemy to all that loved him. And with no place else to live, he resides under a bridge somewhere in London. A young boy is on the run, 'cause his prints are on that gun. Isn't that crazy? Oh, that's what's going on a different street.
Myself down to the bottom. Here is no place to hide and no one can call me. My name is so dirty, call me dirty girl. You made me a sinner, so I'm on my own. Falling apart, no stopping to lose. I'm clumsy and now you call me a loser. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I swear you can call me a loser. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I swear you can call me a loser. dirty girl. You made me single, so I'm on my own. Falling apart with no stopping to lose. I'm clumsy and not they call me a loser. La 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 la. La 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 la
Welcome to another late night stream, guys. I was out all day. I went out watching football. A friend that played, he had the national derby, so we had to support him. Afterwards, I went to a birthday again, 2 birthdays in a row, but I made sure that I drank enough, so I had an excuse to go early enough because I had to drive. So let me tell you what I did yesterday. Yesterday when I was offline, I didn't go sleep. I finished this damn Winner's Circle 2. And you won't believe it, guys. Let me show you now. I got the man, the legend, the myth, the only goalkeeper that might be good beside Khan and normal Khan card, because full birthday Khan is trash. Khan and Vicario. I got 94 Buffon, the highest rated keeper in the game, as I know. I got him, guys, yesterday. I was so dead at 6 AM that I didn't really... I wasn't really hyped or anything, so... it didn't really matter if I recorded it or not, because I was that dead. But he should be the best keeper in the game, 100%. And now, live in the stream, we will open the 90 plus Trophy Titans player pick, guys. I hold it for today. Couldn't open it yesterday. I did not. So let's do it now, guys. I'm hyped. We got Buffon out of the other one. I expect something good here too. Wait, let's take it before. I keep hoping. Francescoli. I like his name, but I don't know the player, to be honest. And Larsen, another one. I don't know if I got the... I think I got the other Larsen. But he's not better than my Silla, so I skip him. Francescoli. Let's take Francescoli then. Nothing special, sadly. Meh, meh, meh. I don't think I finished my EVOS. Bottom corner? I could give it to my Dimarco. Or just for fun to my Guns and Wine. There he is. Because he has 10 playstyles already. we could just make him more offensive. Yeah, no, this is funny. For me, it's so funny because he's such a square player. Oh, he's at 87. We have to give it to him. Just for fun. Oh man, I have 0 money left. I spent everything on EVOS. Guys, I had 500k coins, man. They're all gone for evolutions. I went crazy last days, not gonna lie. And you have nothing else to play than rivals. Yeah, let's change the tactics to 3-5-2. Or did I finish this objective? I might have finished it. Oh. There's only the 4-3-3 version 4 left, I see. So we gotta adjust it to it. Or 3-3, but it's another one. Then let's change this one, then we save it. And how do I know which one is which? This is then probably number 4. But this is badly made. Don't really know which one is which. We do want short passing. Otherwise this formation will be dead in defense. And we play it super low too. Let's see. Okay, let's play it a little bit more offensive. We put both on inside forward but balanced. We put him on balance as well. Usually box to box is the only viable one, but you know what? Let's put just to see how it goes. Let's put both our CMs on playmaking defend. Fullback versus balance should be enough to make them go forward. And Vicario is going to be a no, super keeper. Super keeper. Well, I just put Buffon in there anyways. But I hope this is, we will see if this is the right one. Didn't save. Rename 334. Wait, I have already one. Whatever. Let's see. Oh yeah, Foot Champs is up. So let's just play Foot Champs with it. Don't even need to play rivals. Not qualified. Okay, I need to play rivals then. By the way, guys, I drank a lot of beer, but somehow I'm not that wasted. It was like a little bit more boring, which made everything a little more calm somehow. Yeah, okay, we ain't going to kick Lacroix. Lacroix is the man. But we put in Kurochai because he's busted. Fuck, man. But guys, my Kurochai, he felt insane. I don't know, but he just felt insane. I have to see how it goes. We kick Itakura, not for Cancelo, not for Hazard. But I want to play with Di Marco. Oh, I have a Zanetti as well. Okay, wait, let's just do the Schalke team to make a photo of it. Okay, now I need to play him here. Problem is, I think our Tish can't play left wing. Yeah, our Tish can't do this. He can only play left midfield. Yeah, okay. So we put our Tish on the 10. Zila can play on the right wing. And we still have Gantenbein and this Leonard Cartier. Yeah, if I take another formation, they all can play in there. Okay, wait. For the photo, for the picture, we take this formation then. Oh, guys. This is by far the sexiest team that I have seen in FC26. Not gonna lie, man. This is pornography. Pornography, guys. For a Schalke fan, at least. Oh, guys. This looks insane. Oh. Oh. This team I will already love when I see this. Oh my god. Ah. So beautiful. Yeah, this is not Schalke top 1, this is Schalke team. Just call it Schalke team. This one we call Reif Jump. And we build it with this formation. Yeah, okay, we need to fill it. 4-3-3 offensive. Let's try to... Oh no, I shot fuck up, mate, because I want to play with Silla anyways. Ah. What can he do? So we can try him. Come. To be honest, I don't want to try him. Can he play left wing, please? He can play left wing. So let's try Azar on left wing then. We play Silla in the center. On the right wing. We take Quaresma. Now the 3 center players. We take El Fauzi and Cass. Yeah, and Cassier. It's between Cassier and Joelinton. Cassier is just a little bit better. Offensive midfield, El Fauci. Right wing, we play Gantenbein. Oh no, there's no wave of Gantenbein. So we just put Zanetti in there. The best one. Left wing, I want to play with Di Marco. Kuruchai. And Lacroix. 2 best defenders I have. And my new Buffon. Then on the bench we place Becker. We place Cancelo on the left. Now a little bit defensive. Yeah, well, Joelinton for sure, 100%. Then I need an offensive midfielder as well. So sad he doesn't have Boozer Silver. But you know what? I think I just put in Rolfo and Scott. No, Scott is too much. Now we need one for the wings. It will be Quaresma, he can play both. Where is he? And the striker. I can't leave Butragueño on the bench. Actually. So what's missing? Left, mid, still the right wing. You know what? I think I play with Hendrik. Because his shooting always feels sensational. But let's see first how I imagine it. Or we just tried Kubo. Okay, then let's just try Kubo. Who is not 100% happy? Di Marca. Di Marco. Do we have an Italian? Di Marco is still not happy. Yeah, ciao. Nicola. Oh. Okay, then let's go. A little bit of rivals. Let's see if I destroy this fucker. I lost 2 games in a row yesterday. Oh man. Chavinga, Rashford, he's already going to be fucking disgusting. Buffon had his ball, right? Let me fix something here. Now we hear something too. Okay, let's go. Oh guys, I'm so slow, I feel it already. It's like I'm not playing at all. I don't know if that's going to be something tonight.
Composed and patient passing. Well, I think a classic commentator's curse just then. Couldn't make the ideal pass. Rashford getting forward. Surely! Oh, he wasn't necessarily favourite to win that.
Right now I don't play at all. The defense right there was all the player. It wasn't me. I'm just brain AFK right now. Let's see how far I can go being brain AFK. But I feel oh, I won't get far. Oh no. Okay, I'm completely gone, guys. Forget it. I won't win in one game tonight. I drank too much. It's actually not going good. I don't know, he's not even good, but oh yeah. I'm actually just alive because of my OP defender cards. I'm just there because of my OP defender cards, guys. But I take it if I can survive a little bit longer. Crazy. You know how much that tilts me when I do this, man. Ah, now I'm getting angry. Ja, ich such mal, geht heute wenig mit der Geburtstag. Die kan vi nog så så för det länge. Ja, voilà. Wow, perfekte Feeling, das ist gut. Das ist genau den. Okay, I'm starting to understand slowly. I'm starting to understand, guys. Even though I'm wasted, I'm starting to understand. Let's try to make my NPCs defend for me. Okay. 2-3 is good. 2-3 is good. Let's kick this Kubo. Kubo, my balls. Quaresma, meu. Let's go. Guys, do you see the thunder in this Silla card, man? Silla. Tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow is the day. He's gonna score, man. Tomorrow is the day against Elversberg. Schalke is playing. It's the day if they win. Fuck you, man. If Schalke wins tomorrow, they make a big step towards promotion. Oh no, wait, okay, let me concentrate. Oh, not like that. Not like that. Not like that. Not like that. How to ruin the whole game in 3 minutes.
And in the right position to make sure it didn't go all the way through. Marcus Rashford. Oh, big opportunity. Oh, hands are off. What a challenge. Well, that's a vital piece of defending. He did
It's not over yet, guys. Not over yet.
Zanetti.
Can score in 2 minutes too.
Eden Hazard. Could catch them on the break. But a good piece of
That's my bad because I didn't press L1 when I played with Silla. I didn't send him at all.
position.
Or sleeping.
Oh, genuine chance. Oh, my word. There's excellent timing for you. What a challenge. Having to hit the target
okay.
with this pass, and it'll be a throw-in.
Damn
Oh,
it.
pressure on the ball paying off. Shaping to shoot. Well, he didn't miss by very much at all.
Yeah, and Buffon didn't had any chance to really show his potential. All the shots were like 100% goals.
Musa Fila has slipped through beautifully. And that's really well read. That was a vital bit of defending there.
Oh,
Well, doesn't have to do it on his own.
yeah.
Gives it a go. Oh, fully stretched.
Schön mal raufgeladen.
But he's gone short with it. Promising position, this.
But now I'm doing FIFA again. Oh no, but I'm losing.
In it goes. Such a complete performance.
Yeah, and I did the big player pick and I got nothing. Actually, what should I play tonight? I won't play Pokemon tonight. I won't play Pokemon in this stream at all.
Coming up after a really fine piece of tackling.
Should I play Road to Vostok tonight?
Well, it happened for them. And a good challenge to bring that attack to an end.
Because I'm too slow for FIFA, but I might be good enough for an offline game.
And quick thinking defensively. Maybe room here for the counter-attack. And let's give credit to the defending.
Still not plays, by the way, like Henry.
I think they were expecting a bit more from that attack. Adil Aouchiche. They need to get tighter. Nothing comes of it. Good defending it was. Quick counter could be on.
Do I receive 7 goals, man? I must be completely in the arch, man, to receive 7 goals, man. When do I receive 7 goals?
And the through ball. He read the situation defensively and did his job. Well, that's a living, breathing example of position.
Yeah, okay, guys, I can't play rivals. It's too sweat for me right now. Please, in this condition, I have to play something else. Because I finished all the tournaments already.
A good and fair.
There's nothing else left.
Well, the fans are certainly having their say. Just listen to them.
I completed FIFA.
And possibilities here. Must be. It's gone in. And well, he must celebrate on the back of that. So underway again, but to my mind, this game is now as good as over. Hazard. Oh, nice work to get past his opponent. Well, danger averted thanks to his teammate. Pina.
I don't think this dude would even shoot 2 goals against me
Well, in terms of added time, a minimum of 1 minute.
normally. He does nothing special. Besides,
Can she put it away?
he doesn't even do red stuff. I'm just too slow right now.
Here's the end of the game. It goes into the history books as a home defeat.
You're absolutely right. While the result was poor,
Sedge. Too slow for FIFA. Yeah, I completed only chill tournaments, silver, no tanks, not now. I don't have enough follow for any SBC. Yeah, so there's nothing really to do for me. I think now would be the moment to try To Vostok, I guess. Then let me change the settings. Okay. Let's see how this game is. Do we need a tutorial? I guess. Damn it, I should have gone to settings first. Right now the FPS sim is 7. So I should stick to it. All objects that are logically have storage space are interceptable loot containers. Loot is generated to these containers and items are also physically scattered to the game world. MMB, that's a mouse button, right? It will show, it will just show. Equipment are dedicated items slot. I don't need to read that. The causes symptoms with tooltip. Okay, it's like all the other games. No weapon is equipped, you can do. Okay. Damn, I need to control left click to insert bullets. Mm-hmm. What is this NPC voice? What the fuck, man? Ah, you know what, guys? I don't need a tutorial. I'm the greatest survival player of the world, man. Minosa Mukava, man. Open the door, please. What do I have to press? No! Already stuck. Hä? Not left click, not right click, not E, not F. Okay, what? Maybe it's the wrong door. Bro, what key do I have to press to to go out here. What a mystery. The middle mouse button. What the fuck? Okay. I take the recommended for new players one.
I'm broadcasting this now because this is probably my last opportunity before it all ends tomorrow.
They should have
The
had
events that happened
subtitles. You
in
don't
Finland
understand
have
anything.
been all over the news, but I'm afraid nobody will ever know the truth. The real truth is impossible to understand unless you were here, in Area 05, southeast Finland, where it all began. Before I tell you what actually happened, you first have to understand Finland as a country and how this even started. For over 70 years, we maintained our neutrality. In doing so, we created a 1,340-kilometer neutral shield between the west and the east. This shield is a border zone that runs from the Arctic in the north to the Gulf of Finland in the south. The word shield is important. A shield is a defensive tool. It should never be used as a weapon. After maintaining the shield for all these years, we were forced to join a military alliance. We were forced into a position where our role was eventually determined by those who seek power, not peace. The first years were easy. While we never lowered our guard, it seemed that nothing had really changed. However, once enough time passes, we accept the illusion of safety. We wrap ourselves in the mindset that we are in control of our own future. But we were just a tool for a bigger plan. This plan revealed itself relatively quickly when a global military initiative was started. This former shield slowly lost its meaning and was transformed into a sword whose purpose no longer relied on defense. Building a massive sword near this border zone is an action that has consequences. We knew this the moment the initiative started. But were there any other options? I don't think so. This initiative brought billions of dollars and thousands of jobs to a country seeking economic growth. On top of the economic impacts, if all your northern allies have accepted the same plan and the same benefits, you don't want to be the black sheep, the only one who says no. However, the other northern countries are relatively far and safe behind this former.
This is a long intro.
Finland is not. So, what really happened here? As you might have guessed, it was one of those beautiful midsummer
Thanks for
nights
the follow, Dark Potter.
when a large explosion.
Okay, now let's go. Now we go. To Vostok. I need to text here. What the Haley? Area 05. Here we go. Bro, I was thinking so long about playing this game. Very, very long. Now I came to it. Okay, it actually looks like Daisy. Maybe a little bit better than DC. But the sound is the same. There we go, a weapon. Oh, I have one in the inventory anyways. No. Can I just equip it like? Okay. Ah, damn it, I should have checked the tutorial. I didn't really know what to expect from the game. Maybe I should have taken a little bit attention at the beginning with an intro played. Yeah, road, that's how the game is called. That's the right house. I'm at the right place, guys. Okay. Strong sound with the auto door openings. Polaris. We found a camera. There's no middle ground in the sensitivity. Gonna lie. Either it's super slow or it's super fast. Aim sensitivity, look sensitivity. Let's put that up. Okay, besides the strong jaw sound, I can't really tell you anything about the game yet. Oh, I got a backpack. Do I got a backpack? Can I equip the backpack? Don't know if that's so. Do I get a map? No, not really. Do I get bullets? No. Just go ninja modus then. What you mean there's nothing in there? Ooh. Okay, with CGRL you can immediately transfer them. It's a little slippery there. Okay, the game is called Road to Vostok, so let's stay to the road. So let's stick to the road. I don't understand your language. Okay. Up there it's closed as well. Health, energy, hydration, mental, body temperature. Okay, there's closed as well. Should I have taken attention at the beginning? Oh shit, what were we shooting?
Rauha. Kavereita tässä vaan ollaan.
Here's bullets. If we kill this bot, we get bullets. Where did this fucker see me? Oh, I saw him. Whoa, guys, what? Bro, I just peeked to the right and he already shoots at me. How am I supposed to sneak up on him? Holy fuck, that scared me. Is this actually a survival game, man? Oh, that person, perfect. Hey, let me loot him. I pressed something when I was scared. When I panicked. Hello, can I get out of here? Bro, what did I press? Oh, I don't get out of this thing there. What key did I press? Huh? Oh, what did I press? I just panic clicked something and now I'm stuck in the screen. I can't even press escape. Oh. Okay, I pressed something. It worked. Okay, it's X. That's the step arrow, guys. We need to give him the step arrow. Oh, jebot him. Oh, la 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 la. The one, bro. Why can't I run? Oh, what? Where is this motherfucker? What the fuck? Where did this motherfucker see me? Huh? Wait, he's close. Okay, there's one dude. Wait, he hit me already? Whoa, 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 what? Bro, no way, he already hit me with this. How do I see my player? No way! Guys, it's 12:40 a.m. I'm streaming for 1 hour and 20 minutes now. I'm bad at everything that I touch. I think tonight is the perfect night to do a reaction stream. What do you think, Taluk? It's time for a reaction stream. I'm bad at everything that I touch. You gotta react to something. There's no way around it. This, yeah, well, Pokemon, but I think then even I go to sleep. And I saw Oompaville. There's something about Epstein that I wanted to watch. Oompaville. There we go. The Epstein property nobody talks about.
In 1993,
I think I'm alone in this stream anyways. Motherfucker! So I can do whatever I want, do whatever I want. Let's go.
a Wall Street financier bought 7,600 acres of New Mexico desert from the governor's family for $12 million. That's a lot of money. He built a 20.
Before we do the reaction, guys, I get some nasty snacks. Yo, I want a shoki. And I kind of want to eat chips. So chips and shoki. Crazy combi. See you soon, guys. Okay, because we're doing a reaction now, and the stream wasn't much of a FIFA stream. Let me change the title for a third time. Let me change to just chatting. Not just dancing, just chatting. Zack. Let me put up a thumbnail that I haven't used in a while. Okay. Let's start with the Oompaville reaction, guys. This is going to be part 4, I think. GG.
6,000 square foot mansion, a private air.
Epstein reaction on YouTube, guys. Epstein reaction on YouTube.
In 1993, a Wall Street financier.
Oh, mom. Easy peasy. Ducky, road to Rostock. I start the game, but I'm not in condition. I even get destroyed in FIFA. Still, I go into the game. Same as you. Bro, I walk a few meters. Someone shoots at me. I try to sneak around him. He shoots at me again. I get hit. I hide behind the corner. He comes up to me. I try to knife him. He kills me. I look out. I try another time. But the bots are insane. I just peeked to the right side for a small window, like, and he immediately shot at me. It's insane, huh? I think if you escape Tarkov, you gotta escape Vostok. And Vasa, that's for you, man. If you escape Tarkov, you gotta play Road to Vostok.
Here bought 7,600 acres of New Mexico desert from the governor's family for $12 million.
By the way, now that you are in Discord and I'm streaming, lately, I think 1 week ago, I had someone in the chat. He asked me if I'm the demon cuckoo. I said, no, that's a friend. He stopped making shots. But yeah, someone asked for you. I think you just dropped in him escape. It was actually out of nowhere. I was playing FIFA and he came into the chat, so it was actually out of nowhere. I don't know anymore. I would have to rewatch, but I don't know which stream it was anyways.
That's a lot of money. He built a 26,000 square foot mansion. In 1993, a Wall.
Ja, dass er wirklich dann so schon recherchieren geht, weißt du. Okay, guys, now done talking. Like, I thought Demon is in Discord right now, and last time someone was in the chat who asked if I was the Demon, but Demon is a friend of me who is playing Tarkov, and as it seems like destroys people. So yeah. But now we start with the Oompaville reaction. The Epstein property nobody talks about. The link is in the chat, guys.
Wall Street financier bought 7,600 acres of New Mexico desert from the governor's family for $12 million. That's a lot of money. He built a 26,000 square foot mansion, a private airstrip, and a building that his staff called the ladies' residence, and a barn that a retired state police officer would later tell the FBI contained a concealed.
I think this is the mansion that I already reacted to a clip of Asmongold, but it was only 5 minutes and it was about a Twitter clip or whatever it was.
Incinerator.
And Oompaville, as it looks like, has a 1 hour video of it now. Let's go. Oh, do you see this one, guys? Leave a like.
He also told scientists at Harvard and MIT that he wanted to use this compound to impregnate 20 women at a time and seed the human race with his DNA. And no, this is not a villain from Battlestar Galactica. This is Jeff.
What the fuck? So 33 scientists knew that he's a fucked up person.
Jeffrey Epstein. The FBI raided Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse in Manhattan. They raided his mansion in Palm Beach, and they raided his private island. But they have yet to really search his ranch. Of course, until very recently. The property is called Zorro Ranch, and it is more disturbing than
It is this ranch.
Even the island. It is about 30 miles south of Santa Fe in a stretch of high desert near the town of Stanley, which has a population of
By the way,
roughly
guys,
100
I got
people, which
chalky.
is not that many. There was a lot of
chocolate.
conspiracy surrounding the Zorro Ranch, it being a baby-making ranch. in which Epstein used his ties to scientists to study ways to impregnate the world with his genetic seed. Also, the fact that 1 month after he was sentenced in 2008, got his sweetheart deal, the Zorro Trust won an $85 million lottery in the state of New Mexico.
Right. A group called Zorro Trust came forward and requested the lump sum payment option, yielding 29.3 million after taxes for the winning ticket in the July 2nd drawing. The ticket was purchased at Stripes Convention Store in Altus. It was worth 85 million, taken in annual payments over 29 years under an annuity plan. Under lump sum payment, whatever this means, the cash amount before taxes is about half as large as annuity plan figure.
The Zorro Ranch, Epstein's property
I don't
trust,
know.
won an $85 million lottery shortly
85
after.
million is enough.
I mean,
I
is
don't
that
know,
money laundering?
understand.
I have no
I
idea. It
don't
seems like
need
it's
to
a
understand
scam.
anything
To
else
be fair,
about it.
that is unresolved. There's a possibility that it was just some random person who named their thing Zorro Trust or whatever. That's like a conspiracy as well. But needless to say, there's a ton of conspiracy surrounding the Zorro Ranch that needs to be investigated. Jeffrey Epstein bought it back in 1993 from the family of Bruce King, who was the sitting governor of New Mexico at the time. When a reporter asked King why Epstein wanted the land, he said, "I guess he just likes New Mexico, like a lot
I guess he just likes New Mexico.
of people. Thank you, Mr. King. Hopefully you never went there." After purchasing it over the next
I'm sure King was a kid lover.
decade, Epstein turned the ranch into a compound. The main residence was 26,000 square feet, 3 stories, 4 bedrooms, an indoor pool, a gym, a library, and a basement with an exercise room, a massage room, and a jacuzzi. Around it, he built what NBC News described
One of his victims, Virginia Giuffre, compared the ranch to Disney Island, writing in a memoir about manicured grounds and gurgling fountains. Dennis Court had its own miniature town that housed his servants and groundskeepers. Okay.
as a miniature town that housed his servants and groundskeepers with a 7-bay heated garage, a firehouse, a ranch office, and the original adobe residence that came with the land. There was also a 3-bedroom lodge for guests, an off-grid log cabin, a vintage rail caboose on tracks, a yurt, and a set of buildings made to look like a Western film set.
Who thinks Trump was in this ranch already?
Even had ancient Native American petroglyphs moved onto the property for decoration. And then there was the ladies' residence, a separate
Right now there are tons of fake AI videos on Twitter showing Melania Trump licking with Epstein, kissing him, I don't know what. Yeah. After her speech. But yeah. Let's go.
building designed
Continue.
by the architecture firm Wimberly, Allison, Tong, and Gu, specifically designated as a housing for young women. And we know this because court filings corroborate that this is where they were kept separate from the main house. The Gu firm resigned from the project in
Tong and Go. Who the fuck is Tong and Go?
in 2018 after employees raised concerns about Epstein's background. And by that point, the building was basically completed, and only a year later, Jeffrey went, "Oh."
So they built him the sex dungeon, and then when it came out that he's a fucking pervert and psychopath, they went like, oh, we didn't know. We built a sex dungeon for psychopath. Oopsie.
As soon as the cameras turned off for routine conspiracy maintenance, he hurt himself. Ghislaine Maxwell had her own 4,600 square foot residence on the Zorro compound, according to county records as well. The ranch had a 4,400 foot grass airstrip with an aircraft hangar and a helipad. And over 10 years, flight logs show 105 documented flights moving people in and out using Epstein's Boeing 727, a Gulfstream 4, and various helichoppers. And the routes that they traveled form a triangle between Teterboro in New Jersey, Van Nuys in California, and Albuquerque, all designed to avoid major commercial airports. And something that's notable about these logs is what analysts call passenger laddering, which means the people who flew in were often not the same people who flew out. And passengers were repeatedly listed as just female 1 or male 1 with no real names attached, which obviously results in a level of anonymity built into flight logs. Ghislaine Maxwell appeared on
They just wanted to ride some horses.
37% of all flights to New Mexico and was present on nearly every trip through 2001. Her assistant, Emmy Taylor,
Taking
made
their
33
babies?
documented flights to the ranch,
Oh,
sometimes
it's
traveling
getting satanistic. Ooh.
without Maxwell. And Epstein's longtime pilot, Larry Vysotsky, testified in federal court that Epstein visited the ranch about 5 or 6 times a year. In 1996, a 16-year-old girl from Arizona named Annie Farmer was flown to Zorro Ranch under the pretense of planning a volunteer trip to Thailand. When she arrived, she found herself alone at the massive compound with Epstein and Maxwell. They took her shopping for cowboy boots, then to a local movie theater where Epstein immediately began holding her hand and rubbing her foot and arm with no effort to hide the behavior from Maxwell, his supposed partner at the time. That night, Maxwell insisted on giving Farmer
Giving a message in which she touched Farmer's breasts. What? Okay, let's read this one. Epstein and Maxwell took Farmer shopping for what she said were very expensive cowboy boots, according to Farmer's testimony at Maxwell's trial. Then Farmer said they went to a movie where he caressed her hand and touched her tight. Later she said she was pressured into giving Epstein a foot massage, which led to Maxwell giving a message in which she touched Farmer's breast. The next morning, Farmer said Epstein crawled into bed with her and pressed his body against her in an attempt to cuddle. Farmer said she escaped to the bathroom, then hid there until the moment passed.
from Maxwell, his supposed partner at the time. That night, Maxwell insisted on giving Farmer a massage, told her to take off her clothes, pulled down the sheet, and began the assault.
How did Farmer escape, though?
The next morning, Epstein crawled into her bed, and more happened to her,
Never mind, she did not.
unfortunately. By the way, the entire time, she was 16 years old. She reported what happened to the FBI in 2006, and the information, as you probably could guess, went nowhere. Her complaint sat in the system for 20 years, and she wasn't the only one. 14-year-old girl known in court records as Jane testified at the Maxwell trial that she was flown to New Mexico with Epstein and Maxwell, and she described the ranch as this giant ranch sort of in the middle of nowhere, and it seemed very empty on the interior, meaning there wasn't really any other people around. She was also sexually abused and forced into orgies. In 2004, a 15-year-old girl was invited on what she was told was a trip to a Las Vegas magic show with her sister.
Wow, they had only minors in there? What the fuck, man? It's actually a fucking minor sex dungeon of Epstein. Who was this company? VTAG? Probably pedophiles as well.
And instead, they flew to Zorro Ranch, where sexual abuse began and continued for hours. This girl later recalled during the assault looking up and seeing framed photographs of Epstein posing with famous and powerful people, and she said, "What I remember most vividly was him explaining to me how beneficial the experience was for me and how much he was helping me to grow," which is disturbing and horrifying. After the assault, there was an ATV crash on the property, and another girl said, "No one gets in trouble for anything here." A college student named Joanna Schoberg was pressured into repeated sexual massages at the ranch as well. Epstein told her directly, "I want you to be the mother of my baby." and that's going to be a
Wait a minute. Epstein told a 15-year-old girl he wants her to be the mother of her baby?
A college student named Joanna Schoberg was pressured into repeated sexual massages at the ranch as well. Epstein told her directly, "I want you to be the mother of my baby." And that's going to be a recurring theme throughout this entire video, is this insane obsession with lineage and genetics. And this is one of the darkest things to come out of all the Epstein stuff, and probably the least talked about. It's certainly the least investigated. Also, a young aspiring ballet dancer who needed rent money for her mother was coerced into sex with Epstein and unnamed associates at the ranch over multiple visits between 2007 and 2010. According to her lawsuit, Epstein told her that opportunities were endless, as long, of course, if she complied with what he dictated, and if she did not, he could take it all away. At least 10 women and girls have alleged grooming or abuse at Zorro Ranch starting in the mid-1990s, and half of them were fucking teenagers. The ranch manager, a man named Bryce Gordon, was
Ranch manager Bryce Gordon. This can't be a good dude, man. You can't be manager of a pedophile dungeon without knowing that it's a pedophile dungeon. Bro,
interviewed by the FBI in February.
I just read it in my head, guys. Gordon told agents he worked at the property for several years and described the regular flow of young women arriving at the airstrip. He said he was not informed about the nature of Epstein's activities, but he observed patterns he found unusual. This dude was the manager of this damn pedophile dungeon, watched for several years young girls going in and out, and now this fucking pedophile idiot manager says he didn't knew about the nature of Epstein's activities. Imagine.
2007, and he described a regular flow of young women arriving at the airstrip and said most were hired locally through a Santa Fe spa called 10,000 Waves or through referrals for the spa.
Bro, it's not even funny, but it's so simple and stupid. I have to laugh, you know. It's like a little kid, like doing something stupid, which is obvious, that they say, "No, I did nothing," and someone believes them.
Spa later denied ever providing or referring masseuses to the ranch. Of course they did. The FBI interview was terminated after someone instructed staff not to cooperate with agents. Virginia Giuffre, who was trafficked by Epstein across multiple,
which is, by the way, dead now. Suicide, supposedly.
Properties starting around 2000, compared the ranch grounds to Disneyland. Her posthumous memoir, Nobody's Girl, which was published in October of 2025 after she died by suicide in April of that same year at 41 years of age. She described the manicured grounds of Zorro Ranch, gurgling fountains, a tennis court, grass airstrip, and the hangar. Zorro Ranch specifically seemed to attract Epstein's science friends. The other places had princes and other rich and powerful famous celebrities and people. You know the list of them. Some of the most respected scientists in the world were flying into this ranch under very strange pretenses, and they were being paid millions of dollars. In 2003, Jeffrey Epstein made the single largest donation in the history of Harvard's mathematics department, which was $6.5 million to a professor named Martin Nowak. This was to establish the program for evolutionary dynamics. After Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting a minor in Florida in 2008 and registered as a sex offender, most people assumed his ties to academia were over because
why would Epstein send millions of dollars to an academic professor? Just thinking about it. What would be the cause? Why would a professor need so much money, or why would be the cause that the Israel CIA, as Epstein was, would donate so much money to a professor? I don't know.
Academia often involves young people who can be taken advantage of. So you think that they would, kind of excommunicate him. But no! Between 2010 and 2018, Epstein visited Nowak's program at Harvard more than 40 times. He had his own office in the building at One Brattle Square with an access card to the headquarters and a flattering page about himself on the program's website. After the sweetheart deal, by the way, staff referred to the office as Jeffrey's office, and according to Harvard's own internal report, they said Epstein was routinely accompanied on these visits by young women described as being in their 20s who acted as his assistants. But back to the professor Nowak, his name appears more than 8
Damn, bro, nearly broke the record. The only one mentioned more often is Trump.
1,000 times in the 3.5 million pages of DOJ files that were released in early 2026. I don't even know what the full number is at this point, but I know there's still some, they deleted some, and more stuff's been corroborated, and it's getting pretty fucking bad out there. So bad, we're now at war. All right, guys, it's so bad, we went to war. As of February 2026, believe it or not.
By the way, guys, Lama Explains. It's like a hidden channel of me where I released a video when Trump stole Maduro from Venezuela, where I explained to you why they did it and what the following steps are, and somehow it goes like I said, man. They continue the war for money.
Nowak has been placed on administrative leave for the second time. So that's Harvard. At MIT, the money moved differently. Joy Ito, the director of the MIT Media Lab, accepted $525,000 from Jeffrey Epstein for the lab and another $1.2 million in personal.
Joy Ito initially said he had more of his own private tech investment funds from it. As later the length will then be the director of the media lab, effectively, unquote. Now we don't know if Ito was involved or he just found out that immediately wanted to resign.
Investments, which is a gigantic, colossal red flag. Investigate that man. That was just the direct funding, by the way. Epstein
He goes to the Ito was involved route.
Also directed approximately $7.5 million in donations from other wealthy individuals, including Bill Gates and financier Leon Black, to the Media Lab through a system specific.
But all those universities in America get sponsored by whatever politicians. They are all somehow fake as fuck.
Specifically designed to hide his involvement because he was a criminal. 3 MIT vice presidents, Gregory Morgan, Jeffrey Newton, and Israel Ruiz, all knew that Epstein was a convicted sex offender when they approved their arrangement in 2013. They decided to accept the money anyway, but of course, keep it anonymous and relatively small so Epstein couldn't use it to rehabilitate his reputation, because they wouldn't want to let Epstein rehabilitate his reputation using their reputations. Ito and his development director, Peter Cohen, made sure Epstein's name never appeared in the records, and Cohen told staff that Epstein's name couldn't be involved in logging a $2 million gift from Bill Gates because they needed to hide that it had been done at Epstein's direction. So they're covering it up.
Nice one.
They're covering up their involvement.
But Bill Gates is also mentioned so often in whatever, but in the Epstein files.
With
fucking weirdo. Corona.
With Jeffrey Epstein. I wonder why. Staff at the Media Lab referred to Epstein as Voldemort, or he who must not be named, to avoid putting his name in official documents. That is insane. In September of 2019, Ronan Farrow published a piece in The New Yorker exposing the entire arrangement sourced from a former development associate named Xenia Swinson, who'd gone to whistleblower aid, and Ito, this guy, resigned the next
Ito.
day. But of course, the money does not stop at Harvard and MIT. Let's take Lawrence Krauss, guest on the Joe Rogan Experience quite a few times, a theoretical physicist at Arizona State University. This man received $250,000 from Jeffrey Epstein and maintained an almost...
Okay. He, like, We shouldn't go to like
at
look,
MIT.
guys.
Let's take
Like
Lawrence Krauss.
how you look. But if you tell me he's a pedophile,
Guest on the Joe Rogan
I would
Experience
say yes.
quite a few times. A theoretical physicist at Arizona State University. This man received $250,000 from Jeffrey Epstein and maintained an almost 15-year friendship with him. He was even friends with him after the 2008 conviction. After the
ka-ching.
conviction, Krauss gave an interview to the Daily Beast because, of course, it was a bad look, and he said, Jeffrey has surrounded himself with beautiful women and young women, but they're not as young as the ones that were claimed. As a scientist, I always judge things on empirical evidence, and he always has women's ages 19 to 23 around him, but I've never seen anything else. So as a scientist, my presumption is that whatever the problems
He said too often that he's a scientist.
were, I would believe him over other people. Bro, how about as a scientist, you go fuck yourself?
By the way, guys, I have a Bachelor of Science, so I can tell you this dude is a pedophile. Not he,
All
but
right.
let me
Whatever
go
you
back.
think has this, and because of $8,000, Arizona Strauss, guest on
He.
the Joe Rogan Experience, quite written all beautiful women and young women, but they're not as young as the ones that were claimed. As a scientist, I always judge things on empirical evidence, and he always has women's ages 19 to 23 around him, but I've never seen anything else. So as a scientist, my presumption is that whatever the problems were, I would believe him over other people. Bro, how about as a scientist, you go
I believe Epstein. I believe Epstein.
yourself.
I'm a
All right?
scientist.
How about as a fucking scientist, you suck it? How about that?
Yeah, man.
When Krauss later faced his own sexual misconduct allegations, documents show he turned to Epstein for advice on handling the social media, or just the media in general, which is hilarious, genuinely. I wonder what his reaction was as a scientist. Seth Lloyd, an MIT professor of quantum computing, took $225,000 for research and $60,000 personally, deposited it into his own bank account without reporting that to MIT, which that seems like a crime, by the way. I don't think it is, but like, if China were to do it, it'd be a absolute big time crime, and you'd be treason.
Imagine getting $500,000
Brother, come on.
for research.
Treason. I like China more than Jeffrey Epstein. I'm gonna be real with you, but it's peas and carrots. You know, they're nothing. They're nothing. As a scientist, I kind of know these things. Seth visited Epstein in prison at the Palm Beach County Jail during his 2008 sentence and acknowledged Epstein's funding in 19 published academic papers, which is crazy. Leon Botstein, the president of Bard College.
Botstein, man. The what 1946? Huh? How old is this dude? 80? No. 450 54 plus 26 60. Yeah, he's 80. Oh, what did I 54? Yeah.
Which is apparently a real fucking place, received $150,000 personally from Epstein through a foundation called Gratitude America in 2016. He later called Epstein a truly evil man, which is so funny. Give me some money, Epstein, for my science. Thank you, Epstein. I'm such a scientist, I drink smart water. Meanwhile, faculty at Bard and the Simons Rock
Guys, do you drink smart water? Or do you drink normal water?
early college, they have been calling for this dipshit's resignation. Can I legally call people dipshit on the internet? I think I'm going to start calling people dipshit a lot more. Marvin Minsky, possible dipshit.
He's also named very often.
And the MIT artificial intelligence pioneer received $100,000 from Epstein in 2002, which was
Oh no, I mistook him with the lawyer.
the first Epstein donation to MIT. And also, Epstein claimed to have funded this dipshit, Minsky, for 20 years and organized 2 academic symposia on his private island, one in 2002 and the other in 2011. Virginia Giuffre testified in a 2016 deposition that Epstein directed her to have sex with Minsky. Stephen Hawking attended a 2006 conference in the U.S. Virgin Islands funded by Epstein.
How is it that there are such assumptions towards a person and he didn't get put to, or he didn't get to talk before the judge, you know? How is that possible, man? America.
And was photographed at a barbecue on Little St. James.
The woman on the right side looks very happy, Kapakak. Then we have one old person, another very weird smiling old person. We got Stephen Hawking, which is known to have some weird connections to Epstein. And the woman that was probably assigned to Epstein. And who are the 2 in the background there? Another old dude for sure.
James. Steven Pinker, the guy with the fucking crazy hair. A lot of science people have crazy hair. He flew on Epstein's private plane and analyzed a federal
Crazy or no hair.
statute on using the internet to entice minors for Epstein's defense attorneys. Hundreds of emails between Pinker and Epstein were released a couple months ago in November 2025. It is crazy how these science people loved Jeffrey Epstein. It's almost like science and morals aren't the same thing, guys. I worship science. You know why I worship science? Because of all the empirical evidence. It makes me a good person. This fucking video is legitimately making me hate science. I'm just kidding. That's not true. I love science. Imagine though, if I was that fucking stupid and I was just like, Epstein, science? Epstein likes science and some science people are bad? Science, dude. I got pure blood. I didn't get vaccinated. Sometimes I jack off in the toilet. In total, Harvard accepted
The funny thing is there are people like that.
$9.1 million from Jeffrey Epstein, and MIT accepted $850,000 directly, with another $7.5 million directed through other donations. So, really setting the stage for how bad these people are. Everybody that we're talking about who knew, who didn't know, honestly, you're a fucking idiot. If you're a science person and you didn't know, then you're not a very good science person. You're in fact a dipshit. Every scientist on that list knew who Jeffrey Epstein was and what he'd done. Some of them literally tried to defend him. And if they didn't, they absolutely could just Google search, who is Jeffrey Epstein? They still took the money anyway, because money talks, wealth whispers. All right, money talks and wealth whispers. So what was the money being used for? Well,
that was the question I had too. What did they use the money for? Like, what was their science?
he wasn't really buying prestige, although it did seem like he really enjoyed the idea of prestige. He wasn't paying for buildings with his name on them like some rich people do, or endowing chairs to impress people at dinner parties. You know, look at all these scientists I've got over here. They're my money slaves. I give them money and they do what I want because they're science people. And it turns out science people are easily bought and paid for. Anyways, who the f was that? The common denominator for these science people. A little bit of a science word there for you guys. Is that the ones Jeffrey Epstein funded had something in common. It had nothing to do with physics or computer science or artificial intelligence. They all worked in and around.
I was expecting so many guys, but not who the fuck was that?
Genetics, evolutionary biology, or transhumanism. And that is where the Zorro Ranch conspiracy comes into play. On July 31st, 2019, the New York Times published a story by reporter James B. Stewart based on interviews with 4 people who had direct conversations with Jeffrey Epstein about his plans for Zorro Ranch. According to those sources, Epstein wanted to use the ranch to about his plans.
reported Epstein's interest in organics and how he wished to seed the human race by using his own DNA. He also reportedly wanted his head and penis frozen. The same year, Stewart and Emily Flitter broadened a piece which provided more detail as to Epstein's relationship with Microsoft, founder Bill Gates. Again Bill Gates, man. Always Bill Gates. Fucking weirdo. Had started after Epstein had become a registered sex offender. Yeah. Oh man, Bill Gates. Guys, we are all using Microsoft PCs, by the way.
Zorro Ranch. According to those sources,
Or program
Epstein wanted
on
to
our
use the ranch to
PC.
impregnate as many as 20 women at a time with his own DNA and described the goal as seeding the human race, improving humanity through selective breeding, with himself as the sole genetic donor. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've seen him or listened to him talk, but his voice and his physiognomy, I don't exactly consider that alpha or good in any way. And with smarts, you just learn.
Yeah, I mean, Epstein had a fucking big ass face, man. Zero head, 100% face, man. There's not for no reason that he's used for all those horse memes and stuff, man. He has a big ass face.
Or good in any way. And with smarts, you just learn stuff, you know? You just learn.
Like there was one documentary and they said like, yeah, he was a good looking dude talking to the women and stuff. Bro, where is he good looking? He has a fucking big ass face.
So I don't really understand
He's yeah.
and that, other than Jeffrey being a completely deluded psychotic maniac. Epstein's plan was modeled on something called the Repository for Germinal Choice, a sperm bank that operated in Escondido, California from 1980 to 1999. It was founded by a businessman named Robert Clark Graham, whose original goal was to collect sperm exclusively from Nobel Prize winners and breed what he considered genetically superior children. The media called it the Nobel Prize.
Well, genetically superior children because they won the Nobel Prize, imagine.
Sperm bank. In practice, only one Nobel laureate actually donated, a physicist named William
Again, a fucking physicist, scientist, man.
Shockley, who was also a notorious racist and eugenicist. So obviously, it's kind of like a racist eugenicist thing, you know, to like fix genes of people or whatever. Seems pretty
Yeah, the Nazis wanted to do that too.
insane. The bank claimed 215 children before it closed. Over 19 years, that's not that many people. I mean, that's crazy. Now, obviously, Epstein's version is critically different from the version that Graham created. Graham wanted a plethora of elite donors. Epstein just wanted to be Genghis Khan. Either way, the context of this reframes what we already know about the ranch. The building called the Ladies' Residence wasn't just for housing young women, it was essentially an infrastructure for a breeding program in the middle of Arizona. The private airstrip was not there for convenience, it's isolatory. It starts to sort of make sense why this place hasn't been searched yet, probably because there's the most fucking evidence there. Of course, there's no confirmed evidence the breeding program was carried out, but the infrastructure is essentially there. The scientists were being funded, and Epstein was telling people what he intended to do. I mean, he told Joanna Schoberg that he wanted to impregnate her. One of the scientists who heard Epstein discuss his plan was George Church, a Harvard geneticist and one of the pioneers of the CRISPR gene editing technology. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of CRISPR. It's gene editing. It's kind of interesting. It's pretty fucking crazy. Church met Epstein around 2006 and continued meeting him several times a year, even after the 2008 conviction, like every other science guy. And when the Baby Ranch story broke in July 2019, Church told Stat News, "I never heard anything about it. I'd have thought that I would have been involved in that kind of conversation, but it didn't tend to go in that direction. But also, I think people tend to behave themselves around me." Dude is a fucking black hole.
Oh, what does that even mean, man?
full of charisma. He also said, there should have been more conversations about, should we be doing this? Should we be helping this guy? There was just a lot of nerd tunnel vision. Seems kind of honest, I'm gonna be real with you guys, but still a dipshit for sure. In December of 2019, Church went on 60 Minutes and told Scott Pelley, you don't always know your donors as well as you would like. And he argued that so-called tainted money can be used for good, like the tobacco money was used for good things. Yes, science man, I love the way you look at that. As a great man once said, a broken clock is still right twice a day. And that is an important fact to contend with. But also,
Yeah, I mean, maybe you actually just take the money of a rich guy without taking note of what he does and who he is. As long as you get the money, it's actually not that unviable.
we can say F you, you know, if we want as well. Freedom of speech.
We can say fuck you, but it might be true though. Like, I mean, if someone, like, you want to do research, guys, and whatever name proposes to you through legal way to donate 500k to you to help you with your research, would you deny it? Would you even look up who this dude is? Maybe real quick, like, yeah, you would look it up. Yeah, you would look it up. But then still, 500k, like, it would make your life so much easier as a researcher, scientist. It's a hard choice to make. You can't just put it on them, but if they are pedophile, they are pedophile, you know. Then you can't take them in. Then you can't save them, man.
Then,
Only Satan can take them.
fast forward, February 2026, the DOJ releases some heavily redacted Epstein documents. New details came out that made the nerd tunnel vision defense way harder to maintain. Church's own online calendar, which was later removed from the internet after NBC News made inquiries, showed 6 documented interactions with Epstein in 2014 alone, including a lunch at Noakes Institute, a dinner with Joy Ito and Reid Hoffman,
Novak again.
phone calls, and a teleconference with an anti-aging researcher named James Clement. In July 2014, Church wrote Epstein an email that said, "Many thanks for your very encouraging words yesterday morning." And this was in the context of outlining a $10 million investment proposal involving companies Church had co-founded, including eGenesis, which develops gene-edited organs for human transplant. That sounds fucking crazy. In December of 2018,
Yeah,
just weeks after the Miami Herald published its investigation into Epstein's crimes, newly released emails showed Church and Epstein had a lunch planned. So it really doesn't look that, I mean, it's just nerd tunnel vision. Oh my God. Thank you for the money, Mr. Epstein. Thank you. Dude, how about I rip you limb from limb? How about that? I'm a little guy, all right? How about I rip you limb from limb? So I can. I've got ape strength.
And then you wouldn't meet with the main dude who wants to finance you. I'm sure it would be more about management and stuff. So if they actually were meant to meet each other personally, it was for sure for some pedophile stuff.
I have literal monkey strength. My family comes from Sicily, all right? I'm Sicilian. Okay, that is as close to cave dwellers as it gets. My great-grandfather was named Augustus, and he was 4'9". That's why whenever I look like this, you can see where punches are meant to deflect off my forehead. You see the angles I'm working with here, guys? Anyways, back to the story. When confronted with the tissue sample revelations in 2026, Church said, multiple people were telling me various things that were mildly contradictory, and I made the wrong call. And I felt he had served his time, and that was a bad judgment. You thought he served his time? This guy is a fucking dipshit. You thought he served his time? I thought he served his time! I'm a science guy! All the empirical evidence shows he served his time! Dude, Epstein's interest in genetics was not limited to funding researchers. He also wanted to live forever. He told associates he wanted his head and his penis cryogenically frozen after death, believing he could be resurrected in the future to continue spreading his DNA. He was also deeply invested in artificial intelligence and believed his consciousness could be eventually uploaded or preserved digitally. To that end, he donated $20,000 to
Well, that's something that they're talking about anyways.
the
To save like a person's memory or consciousness in a computer after death.
Worldwide Transhumanist Association in 2011, followed by $300,000 in 2014 and $150,000 in 2016. He also gave between $100,000 and $120,000 to an AI scientist named Ben Gortzel. That is a cool name. Gortzel, dude. This fella chaired the organization. The organization was chaired by a guy named Gortzel. What in the fuck? Gortzel acknowledged the support in his 2014 book, writing, Jeffrey Epstein, whose visionary funding of my AGI research has helped me through a number of tight spots over the years. The book was called Science. It's all about empirical evidence. And yes, I think Jeffrey Epstein served his time. Now let's take this email. In July of 2018, a Bitcoin developer named Brian Bishop contacted Epstein about investing in a designer baby project, pitching a venture aimed at, according to the emails, producing the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibly a human clone within 5 years. That was 2018. Bishop said the group was proceeding with mouse testing at a Ukrainian lab. And Epstein replied, I like implant embryo. Wait 9 months. Great ending. What the f does that mean? There is some hilarity here for Epstein. He spent all his life and all this time planning these things. Millions spent on longevity research, cryonics planning. He looked like a chud, okay? He's hideous, very poorly taken care of, and not to mention he died in a Manhattan jail cell in August 2019. He was killed, most likely by our government, or he conveniently turned the cameras off and, used his magic powers to swing from the rafters. I really don't know.
Guys, I think Jeffrey Epstein just made a spin around himself and suddenly he choked.
What happened, but I don't believe that he did end his own life. I don't think he killed himself at all. I think that's a 0% chance. I think under the Trump administration, now this one, the third one, or
Thanks
the
for
second
the
one,
follow,
third try, I guess. It seems pretty clear now that there is a very deep implication across the board, and the dude is either dead and killed by our government in 2019, or he's alive and in Israel. I wouldn't be surprised either way. Genuinely.
Well, imagine Epstein is like the Hitler controversy, that Hitler got away in Argentina and lived his last days there. Imagine with Epstein it would be the same if the thing with Hitler is true.
I would be more surprised.
But like there are multiple signs that it might be true with Hitler, that he got away, went to Argentina. I can't remember anymore the name of the dude, but there was one like military CIA dude. I don't know anymore. But he was on Joe Rogan, and he was strongly agreeing, or strongly saying that there are very, very clear signs that Hitler got away and lived his last days in Argentina. But I don't know the name of him. And the other thing is, he got mentioned in another podcast documentary where they said that he's a chosen dude from the CIA to make people confused. But that's the thing about all this controversy theories, guys. They just go left and right. You don't know where you're at. So, just theories. All theories.
Is to walk out of my room right now, go in the kitchen, and find a new hero from Jimmy John's. Sponsored today's episode. I'm just kidding. There is one in the kitchen waiting for me, but it's not sponsored. I just thought that might be somewhat funny to say. Anyways, guys. Among the freezers inside George Church's lab at Harvard Medical School, there's
This joke hit very well.
one devoted to housing tubes of human blood and spit, destined to have their DNA read and posted to the open internet as a part of something called the Personal Genome Project. Samples can sit in that freezer for years, waiting for funding to be sequenced. And in the summer of 2013, the project's director of research, a young scientist named Mad Ball, which sounds like some kind of god from the Elder Scrolls, he was unnerved to learn that another member of the team was pushing to prioritize one sample that had been in the fridge only a few weeks, jumping ahead of samples that had waited for years. Ball went into the participants' records, punched in the sample's ID number, and Googled the name that came up. It was Jeffrey Epstein's name. Ball later told Stat News, "It was such a shock to me. I didn't even have words. It looked like a quid pro quo sort of thing, which would have been upsetting, but not super upsetting if it wasn't a bad person, but just a rich person. But this was a rich, bad person, and it looked awful." Ball packed up their belongings and left the lab immediately. Oh my God, someone with morals. That's crazy. And didn't even know about Jeffrey Epstein, had to Google him. He's like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. I'm quitting. There's some quid pro quo stuff going on in here. Evil science being done. What the What in the Where's Dr. Evil? He's literally in this fucking room with me right now. Dr. Evil is. I feel like Dr. Evil wouldn't even do that. And he's got evil in his name. It also appears that the remaining staff of that program prevented Epstein's sample from receiving special treatment, but the lines had already been created there. The sample itself came from a visit documented in DOJ files under the itinerary with the header, "Go to Harvard!" on June 28th, 2013. Epstein had a skin cell biopsy taken through Church's personal genome project, and from that biopsy, researchers generated fibroblast cell lines and stored them in liquid nitrogen. That specific generation for researchers is very important to understand why it matters. Fibroblast cells are connective tissue cells taken.
My mind swiped over a minute. I'm sure I missed at least 30 seconds.
From a skin sample. On their own, they're relatively inert, but if you reprogram them into what are called induced pluripotent stem cells, or lowercase iPS cells, they become functionally identical to embryonic stem cells. An embryonic stem cell, if you didn't know, can become any type of cell in the human body. And if you split those stem cells with CRISPR, a tool.
But wait a minute. Are we still talking about this farm?
That lets you cut and rewrite specific sequences of DNA. You have a complete genetic toolkit for one individual cells that can theoretically grow into anything engineered to any specification. And what those cells were intended for became clear in February of 2014 when a doctor at Massachusetts General Hospital named Joseph Bakuria, who had been introduced to Epstein by Church, sent Epstein a research proposal for $193,400. The proposal included exome sequencing for $1,000, fibroblast sequencing for another $1,000, full genome sequencing for $11,400, and the creation of iPS cell lines from Epstein's fibroblast.
160k, and any other pet genomic projects that we might have interest in now or in the future. He just got paid for in case.
Cells for $10,000. So they're gonna create some genetic material for Jeffrey Epstein here. The proposal specifically noted that if they did this, Epstein, like George Church, would be one of the very few people in the world to have it done. It also proposed using CRISPR gene editing to introduce mutations into Epstein's stem cells, believed to potentially increase his longevity, which would have made Epstein one of the first people in the world to have personally edited stem cells. Now, if this is 2014, 2015, this shit's happening everywhere, dude. This is like a thing that's happening, and we're all just kind of finding it's
yeah, they are all now doing those stem cell things.
It's a big. What's George Carlin say? It's a big club, we're not in it. But he says it's a big club, we're not in it. Or he screams it like that. It really is. It's such a cliche to say, but when you learn things, and you read and you research and you take note of patterns and you give in to your innate human nature to recognize those patterns as they happen to you, as things happen to you, all of it just trickles down to a new cliche. It's a basis of a new cliche. And I know that's a contradiction, right? A new cliche, but everything really has already happened. You already have heard all this stuff, and it's just like, oh, that's true? Wow. I thought schizophrenic people were crazy. Nah, dude. The schizos have been on the right side of history, it seems. Name one thing they got wrong. I'm just kidding. There's a lot. I'm just kidding. But there is a lot also that's like surprising.
Guys, did you know that the world is flat?
Surprisingly real. surprisingly real, or at least most likely real. There is some empirical evidence to support it. The single largest line item on that invoice, by the way, I got a little bit sidetracked, was $160,000, and it was for something that Takuria described as a genomic study he was dubbing the Venus Project. The goal was to study the genetics of facial features across 200 participants. The name Venus, the Roman goddess of beauty, was Epstein's idea. Epstein, by the way, very beautiful man. Just kidding. Literally one of the ugliest freaks I've ever seen in my life. In context of what we now know about his documented obsession with ranking people by physical traits, curating lists organized by genetic fitness, and editing out individuals who didn't meet his criteria for blue eyes, a $160,000 study on the genetics of facial attractiveness.
He's like Hitler. He wants things that he doesn't have. Hitler said blue eyes, blonde hair. He had brown hair and black eyes.
Means more now, given all the context. Takuria says the plans never materialized. Epstein sent a $2,000 check the same day as the invoice, but beyond that, nothing. And Takuria has not been publicly linked to Epstein before 2026 and is not accused of any wrongdoing. He told CNN that the Venus Project was an idea of Mr. Epstein's that was very preliminary and never went anywhere. And that's perfectly reasonable. You know, it looks bad because it's tied into all this other gene shit. But also, if Epstein, you know, ordered something from Jimmy John's, the manager at Jimmy John's is not implicated. You know, if someone's providing a service that's not illegal, obviously, I don't have to explain that to you guys. You guys are kind of smart. Let's be real. I mean, you're watching my videos. So, like, these are smart people videos. Press like smart people. Getting smarter every day. Just kidding. I've been getting a little dumber lately. I haven't really been spending a lot of time reading new stuff. I've been spending time out in the outside, looking off in the distance real far. As of March 2026, nobody knows where Epstein's tissue samples are. There are remnants out there of the convicted child offender sitting in a deep freezer, maybe at Harvard, maybe at one of its affiliated Boston hospitals. Nobody's addressed it properly. All right, guys. And that was a point brought up by Stat News, by the way, this year. Also brought up by Stat News, in March 2026, Stat reported that somebody appears to have recently altered the Personal Genome Project's public profile page, believed to belong to Epstein, to indicate he provided consent on January 31st, 2026, one day after the DOJ released its final batch of Epstein files and more than 6 years after Epstein died. Is it another...
Did they say that Epstein might be in a freezer?
Fortnite conspiracy? Is Jeffrey Epstein cranking 90s in Israel? Probably not, but the profiles seem to have been altered. Who altered it? I don't know. Why'd they alter it? I don't know. It was probably the DOJ hiding shit. Because we have a Department of Justice. We have multiple bureaus for investigation of these types of things, and they don't really seem to be doing anything at all. They're actually seemingly at odds with the people who are paying them. The taxpayers, they're seemingly at odds with those people. It's really weird. It's really bizarre that there's people who are like okay with this level of brain rot that's going out there. I'm talking, I've seen people who I used to respect who are now legitimately idiotic. Like, politics aside, there are people right now who are dragging themselves through a level of ooze that is so consequential they have no idea. They are on the wrong side.
Who? Say the name. Say the name.
Of history. And it is objectively clear. The wrong side of history. It's fucking crazy, dude. And I'm an idiot. I don't know anything, and I can see it. So yeah, the DOJ, most importantly. But also, they did release some files, which is good. In the DOJ files released in January of this year, there's a spreadsheet titled 92nd Street Y Potential List. There are 3 versions of it that exist in the documents, each with a different document ID, and what they show is a list of approximately 70 people, organized by professional field and annotated for what Epstein called genetic fitness. Categories include genetics pioneer, medical pioneer, neuroscientist, physicist, mathematician, innovation tech, psychologist, young pioneer, and theologian. Next to many of the names is an eye color annotation, and across the 3 revisions, the proportion of people listed as having blue eyes rises as darker-eyed individuals are edited out. Version 1 had 70 people, 41 of whom were marked with blue eyes. Version 2 cut the list to 63 and pushed the blue eye count to 49. Version 3 went back up to 70 but excluded Asians and Indians from the eye color count entirely. Named individuals on the list
Does that mean they can't get blue eyes?
include George Church, listed as a genetics pioneer with blue eyes, Elon Musk, innovation tech, Peter
Elon Musk?
Thiel, innovation, Jim Watson, genetics pioneer, Bill Gates, Daniel Kahneman, Marvin Minsky, dipshit, and Larry Summers. All these people, let's just call them all dipshits. I mean, they're all dipshits. They're smart. Some of them are really smart. Like, objectively, they're very smart people, and they're very, like, good at life, but they're also dipshits, and they can all go themselves, and they're all pieces of shit, to be honest. The list was the invitee roster for an event
That was very well spoken.
titled Homo Sapiens 2.0 at the 92nd Street Y in New York City on November 24th, 2014. And that is a bizarre name for an event, I'm going to be honest with you, but it is pretty self-explanatory. Homo sapiens 2.0 means the next version of the human species, and the man organizing it was a convicted sex offender who had told scientists he planned to seed the human race with his DNA and had a top-secret ranch in New Mexico where he planned to do that. Church
Guys, if you watch Joe Rogan, you for sure have heard of the white aliens, because he like talks every second podcast about them. And he often says like, or puts this idea out that the human race might need, or is just developing into this no genital type of form, like the white aliens, that this is the way to go. Just like something that he talks a lot about in his podcasts. Do you think in the future we will have no penis, no vagina? Be genitalless?
was there to speak about genetics. Epstein was there to select the participants based on eye color. 2 months after the event in January 2015, a focused email chain about the science and evolutionary theory of blue eyes circulated between Epstein, Martin Nowak, and a Harvard behavioral economist named Moshe Hoffman, who provided Epstein with evolutionary explanations about blue eye pigmentation, discussing night vision advantages and phenotype selection theory. What does green eyes mean? Just fucking normal? Good. Who gives a f? I didn't choose it. It's a very Nazi-coded thing. These people are basically just really rich Nazis, but like not National Socialists, but like the bad parts of all that, you know, the eugenics part. But then they just like they're doing it on the, it's kind of ironic. In February 2016, Epstein emailed Noam Chomsky, which is a real name of a real person, a link to an article titled Race and IQ, Genes That Predict Racial Intelligence Differences, and it was from a website called The Right Stuff.
What is actually the point here? The cover up. So he's proposing that he built sex dungeon science lab there
The Right Stuff, if you
because he's sexing with all the scientists?
couldn't tell.
Or what is the connection here in the video? Or is it just like a good title to make people click?
Very right-wing newsletter. Noam Chomsky, renowned leftist, so it's kind of ironic. Same with Epstein. In the email, Epstein referenced James Watson, the co-discoverer of DNA's double helix structure, who was stripped of his honors in 2019 for repeated claims that black people are genetically less intelligent. Epstein wrote that Watson was punished for accepting some uncomfortable facts. He then stated the test score gap amongst African Americans is well documented with 20 years of testing in many countries. He argued that a set of genes used for working memory could be found and adjusted, and wrote, "Not looking seems cruel," and that is referring to an editable gene that he believed could improve racial intelligence. Chomsky, renowned leftist, pushed back. In one reply, he referenced changing the genes for dedicated savagery, and Epstein's response was genetic altruism. Separately, a bank transfer recorded dated March 28, 2018 shows $270,000 dispersed to the Gnome from an Epstein-linked account. Chomsky had said the money was his own and that Epstein's accounts were used as a technicality to disperse funds from his first wife's estate after her death, which is convoluted. And honestly, it's an Occam's razor moment in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot. I gotta stop saying that.
What? The academic said that after his previous wife died 15 years ago, he needed financial guidance for pure technicality. Who? Chomsky? Yeah.
And honestly, it's an Occam's razor moment in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot. I gotta stop saying that. I know some things. And I also have a GTX 5090. It's not in a computer, it's right there, but it's like, I have that and I should be more proud of it. In July 2016, a German cognitive scientist named Joscha Bach, who received approximately $300,000 from Epstein while working at MIT, wrote to Epstein, "If I'm understanding correctly, you are suggesting you might be able to make blacks smarter by changing the time for motor layer development." Bach asserted that black children outperform white children in motor development but lag behind in cognitive development, and proposed an evolutionary framework claiming African populations evolved for a hunting and running style of life, while Europeans developed capacities for delayed gratification for agriculture. In the same email chain, Bach called fascism probably the most efficient and rationally stringent way of governance. Too many people, so many mass executions.
Well, depending on which continent you live on how you live, it's normal when you develop differently.
The elderly and infirm makes sense. If the brain discards unused neurons, why should society keep...
It's like water animals evolved into water animals, and the ones on land stayed on land, you know. Or let's see, giraffe got a long neck to eat from the trees, but other animals developed differently.
Your equivalent. If the body poops after you eat, we should equate human value to poop. That's what he's saying, basically. That guy is an actual Nazi, like a literal Nazi, not like what people call Nazis now, which is like been lost a lot of meaning and stuff. That guy right there, that's Nazi. That's a Nazi. These people are Nazis. Epstein was a Nazi. There's poop everywhere. I mean, for real though, demons, bud, demons. That is demonic. I've called it satanic before, and people who are Satanists, they're like, well, we have morals as well. We have morals. Yeah, of course. How about I say demonic and evil? How about I say evil? This is evil. You people are fucking evil. When the Boston Globe confronted Bach with these emails in November 2025, he walked them back saying, "Race is itself not casual and cognitive differences, of course. And later research brought me to my current view that race is not causal for differences in development, and race is not a determinant of IQ in children or adults." What about the fascism stuff, though, and killing the infirm and elderly? In another email, Epstein was forwarded a study linking prenatal stress to IQ outcomes, and his response was 5 words: "This relates to the blacks." Beyond the emails, released documents show a $25,000 donation from Epstein's foundation to a former...
So Epstein was a racist too. He was pedophile and racist.
Duke University neuroscience postdoc named Jean-Francois Guérepi, who became a YouTuber and said, "Jeffrey had defects like we all do, but he was a good man. More people like him could improve the world." The files also contain more than 1,974 email exchanges with Steve Bannon discussing strategies for building far-right movements in Europe. Now, this all seems pretty crazy, and a lot of people believe that there's like a deep moral good embedded within the science community, which I believe that. I believe that people who want their worldviews to be informed on empirical evidence, I think that's a really good, healthy way to look at stuff. But like, there's like a disturbing amount of evil in this. Like celebrities, royalty, rich people, and science people are like really implicated in all this Epstein stuff, and there's like a new way to look at this. Is it like a broader moral question and something we should keep an eye on, or is it some kind of machine that Epstein was a master at? I'm leaning more towards the latter, I would say. I think Epstein was very evil. And I think one of the answers we can look at starts with a family that most people don't know about, and that is Ghislaine Maxwell's family. Before Ghislaine Maxwell was a convicted sex trafficker getting her very own version of Jeffrey Epstein's sweetheart deal right now in Texas, just down the street. I know where she's at. She was the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a
Which is Israel intelligence.
British media baron who built one of the largest publishing empires in the world. By the way, I don't know where she's at. That was just meant to sound ominous. I don't know. Robert Maxwell was born Jan Ludwig Hyman Benjamin Hack in what is now known as Ukraine. During World War II, he served in British intelligence where his job was interrogating captured German scientists and POWs. After the war, he parlayed those contacts into the world of academic publishing, became the British distributor for Springer Verlag, and then buying a controlling stake in a company called Butterworth Springer, which he renamed Pergamon Press. Pergamon became one of the most important scientific publishers on Earth, controlling access to thousands of academic journals across physics, biology, chemistry, and mathematics. All of it. If you were a researcher in the Cold War era, there was a good chance your work was published through Pergamon. And with all of this, you can surmise that Robert controlled a level of the infrastructure through which science reached the world in that time. In 1990, the Santa Fe Institute, a prestigious research center in New Mexico.
Wait a minute. So Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was a military dude, interviewed people in CIA style, and then published a science book?
Co-founded.
Did I misunderstand something? After the war, Maxwell used contacts in Allied occupation authorities to go into business, becoming the British and US distributor for Springer Verlag, which is, bro, pretty much everything I used for my bachelor thesis was from Springer. A publisher of science books in 1951, he bought 3/4 of the Butterworth Springer, a minor publisher. The remaining quarter was held by experienced editor Paul Rouseboat. Yeah.
Springer Verlag, and then buying a controlling stake in a company called Butterworth Springer, which he renamed Pergamon Press. Pergamon became one of the most important scientific publishers on Earth, controlling access to thousands of academic journals across physics, biology, chemistry, and mathematics. All of it. If you were a researcher in the Cold War era, there was a good chance your work was published through Pergamon. And with all of this, you can surmise that Robert controlled a level of the infrastructure through which science reached the world in that time. In 1990, the Santa Fe Institute, a prestigious research center in New Mexico co-founded by Nobel laureate Murray Gell-Mann, received a $100,000 donation from Robert Maxwell, and 2 months later, Ghislaine's sister Christine Maxwell joined the Institute's board of trustees. After Robert Maxwell died in 1991, falling off his yacht in the Canary Islands under circumstances that remain disputed, aka he was killed by Israel, Ghislaine moved to New York, and within a
Wait, what? So Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was killed.
'91, falling off his yacht in the Canary Islands under circumstances that remain disputed, aka he was killed by Israel, Ghislaine moved to New York, and within a few years, she was in a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. She brought her father's academic network with her. In a DOJ interview conducted in July 2025, Maxwell told investigators that the connections she had made through her father's Pergamon Press network led to her introducing Epstein to the Santa Fe Institute and its scientists, including Murray Gell-Mann himself, the man who won the Nobel Prize for discovering quarks. I don't know how to say it. Quarks. I've always said quark, but I've only read it. I've never actually heard anybody really say it. Maybe I have in videos and stuff, but I've only read it. I don't know, dude. I don't say a lot of things right because I've only read stuff. I don't listen to people. I can't listen to him. People start talking. I just fucking zone out, dude. I get shark eyes. I'm like, she also told investigators that Epstein would have dinners at the house and that I was tasked to organize, and the scientists were a very major component of that. Maxwell was recruiting an intellectual eugenics infrastructure program, and she seemed to potentially be doing so using the network that her father had spent decades building that ran back to post-World War II. And then Epstein, of course, had access to that network. In March 2006, Lawrence Krauss, friend of the show, he organized
2.0.
a conference.
But how? That's a little bit differently from the theories that I have heard yet about Ghislaine's family.
Called
His, like he says it goes way too fast. In other versions, it's like the dad is already alive. Ghislaine meets Epstein. Ghislaine's dad was not that fond of Epstein, but still went through and stuff like that, you know. There are more in-betweens. So I don't know.
Fronting Gravity at the Ritz-Carlton in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, financed entirely by Epstein. The format was 5 days of presentations and dinner, capped with an optional trip to Epstein's private island, Whittle St. James. The original promotional material said participants could meet, discuss, relax on the beach, and take a trip to the nearby private island retreat of the science philanthropist Jeffrey Epstein. Among these f***ers were 22 leading physicists. Herodotus Hooft, he won a Nobel Prize in 1999. David Gross, Frank Wilczek, Jim Peebles, Barry Barish, Kip Thorne, the fucking Avengers of Nobel laureates. This is also when and where Stephen Hawking went. I went to Epstein's Island in 2017. Beyond these, there are dozens of other conferences that Epstein funded, and we've established how much money he injected into these systems. He was a top billionaire donor, dude. And the moral weakness of these scientists post-Epstein conviction gave Epstein credibility in that world, and then that credibility gave him access, and that's what he is. He's an access agent. That's pretty much what the smartest people among us have been saying. But it gets real evil when you start talking about sex trafficking, and then
Israel agent.
you start talking about the baby ranch in New Mexico, which that's what we're about to dive into next, the cover up. The state of New Mexico was in and of itself woven into Epstein's operation. After Epstein pleaded guilty in Florida, New Mexico notified him that he needed to register as a sex offender. A detective visited the ranch for registration. 2 days later, Epstein was removed from the registry, and the state sent a second letter saying he didn't have to register at all. Rules for thee, not for me. Guess what the reason was? It was a loophole his lawyers engineered. Epstein's Florida plea was for misconduct with someone over the age of 16. New Mexico's age of consent is 16. So the conviction didn't meet the state's threshold for mandatory registration. So you can be a sex offender in one state, but not in another one, because that's pretty awesome. Now, of course, if you know the details of the original case, the plea excluded the 14-year-old victim documented by Palm Beach police. She was left out of the deal specifically, and without her in the conviction, there's no legal basis to put him on the list in New Mexico. So the Florida plea deal itself was already one of the most controversial in legal history, negotiated by Alexander Acosta, then the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. He gave Epstein an 18-month county jail sentence with 6-day work release. He served 13 of the 18 months instead of a potential life sentence on federal trafficking charges. Also, with an immunity clause that protected not just Epstein, but any potential co-conspirators from federal prosecution, which effectively shut down the broader investigation. By the way, Acosta, if you didn't know, if you didn't remember, later became Secretary of Labor.
Look at him.
Under President Trump, and resigned in 2019 when the terms of the plea deal became national news. And he looked like a fucking evil piece of shit, or as we call them, dipshits. It was designed to keep him off registries in the state where he had a 7,600 acre baby ranch. Also, beyond that, the family that sold Epstein the ranch in 1993, the Kings, maintained ties to him for decades. Gary King, the son of Governor Bruce King, served as New Mexico's Attorney General from 2007 to 2000.
So the governor of New Mexico was bro with Epstein. Then you already know that he could do whatever he wanted.
2015, meaning he was the state's top law enforcement officer during the years when Epstein was actively abusing victims at the property his father's family had sold him. By the way, if we've learned anything, referring to an AG as the area's top law enforcement officer is such a meaningless thing to say. I mean, I'm the top law enforcement officer. I'm the top cover-up officer. Pretty much. I'm the top just evil guy, pretty much, in the whole area. In the whole area. I'm the top piece of shit. I'm the top piece of shit, pretty much. It seems like that's what that means nowadays. In 2006, during his AG campaign, Gary King accepted $15,000 from the Zorro Trust, Epstein's own entity. He said he returned it after the allegations became public.
Well, 15K in comparison to all the other sums is pretty low.
Of course he did, because he wouldn't want to look bad. In 2014, while running for governor, King accepted more than $35,000 through Epstein's linked shell companies, including JAG LLC, which was registered to Epstein's Virgin Islands property. The donations, in case you were wondering, were funneled through corporate entities, specifically to avoid coverage, press coverage. So, Epstein's attorney warned that the donations risked additional news coverage given King's platform on crimes against children, because that would be horribly ironic. All right. Gary King was campaigning at the time on his record of prosecuting child offenders. Just not his old buddy and pal, though, of course. In September 2014, King requested use of Epstein's jet for Washington fundraisers, and emails show he personally initiated the flight request. By the way, not to prosecute child offenders, to apparently hang out with a child offender. His running mate for Lieutenant Governor, Deb Haaland, was also on the jet. Haaland says she never met Epstein and didn't know
Erling Haaland?
he chartered the flight, and she is not accused of any wrongdoing, just to be clear. King's cousin Jerry King worked at the state land office starting around 2003 and served as the point person for Epstein's ranch regarding the state land leases. Epstein's company, Cypress Incorporated, leased 1,243 acres of state trust land adjacent to the ranch at roughly $2,000 a year, specifically for cattle grazing. That is the official reasoning, and filings claimed 40 head of cattle, but officials determined Epstein's company ran few, if any, cattle on the trust land. The real purpose was to build a privacy buffer around the compound. Another AG called that a sweetheart deal. So many sweetheart deals with this guy. What's up with that? Governor Bill Richardson met with Epstein at least 9 times after the 2008 conviction, and as late as March 2018, records show visit to the private island in 2010, to Zorro Ranch, and to Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, of course, and a dinner that included an invitation to Woody Allen, the star of the 1999 animated movie Ants. In 2019, when the relationship became public, Richardson's spokesperson said he'd
Well, visiting the ranch once is enough.
visited the ranch only once during his 2002
He had never met Jufre, and all allegations against him were untrue.
campaign, and to the best of his recollection, had never visited the private island. As far as I can remember, I never went. You know, I remember every place I've ever been. That's like not my house or Walmart or something. You know, you remember stuff. Humans remember stuff. I think, usually, generally speaking. So I don't buy any of this. I think these people are all full of shit and they're evil. In fact, records released in 2026 show that this dipshit visited the island.
Yeah, it's true. You would remember going somewhere. No way you don't remember going somewhere. You don't know what, maybe you don't know the details, but you know that you went there. At least when someone tells you that you went there, it might come back into your brain. But you for sure remember it.
In November of 2010,
No way you just say, I can't remember going there.
and that his name appears in more than 800 documents in the Epstein files. Virginia Giuffre, in a May 2016 deposition, testified that Ghislaine Maxwell directed her to give Richardson a massage and that she was sent to New Mexico. Richardson's representative called the allegations completely false and said he had never met Jouffre. He was never criminally charged. Richardson died on September 1st, 2023 at his home in Massachusetts at age 75 before the Transparency Act forced the documents into public view. So, after the files came out, the University of New Mexico Hospital renamed the Bill and Barbara Richardson Pavilion to simply the Pavilion, and when reporters asked if the change was connected to Epstein, the hospital declined to answer, which means yes. That's what that means. It means yes. Silence means yes, generally speaking. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything, dude. The FBI raided Epstein's Manhattan townhouse. They searched his Palm Beach mansion, and they raided Little St. James. But why didn't they search Zorro Ranch, the fucking baby ranch, dude? What? You tell me they didn't search that place?
They didn't even search it at all?
On July 19th, 2019, days after Epstein's arrest in New York, a retired New Mexico State police officer called the FBI about a barn on the property with what he described as a garage door that appeared to be a sally port and a chimney, warning that the property could potentially have an incinerator concealed within the barn. Sally ports, if you don't know, are standard features in prisons, military bases, and high security government facilities. They are not standard features on barns in the New Mexico desert. So obviously the combination of a sally port entrance and a concealed chimney consistent with incineration capacity on a property where girls were being trafficked is the kind of detail that would ordinarily prompt an immediate law enforcement investigation or response. No, it was just a tip, guys. Just a tip. Just a tip was filed. Just a little simple
Completely
tip.
normal
On August
to put
23rd, 2019, an FBI agent wrote an internal communication. At this time, we don't believe there are items still located in the residence that would be of value to the investigation. Oh, okay. When FBI Deputy Director David Bowditch asked agents why they hadn't searched the ranch, they said, at this time, we don't have PC for a search of the NM residence. That means probable cause. Oh, you don't? In November 2019, a separate tip arrived, an anonymous email sent to Albuquerque radio host Eddie Aragon, who hosts a show called The Rock of Talk on Kiva 1600 AM, my favorite fucking AM channel. The sender claimed to be a former ranch staff member, and they wrote, somewhere in the hills outside the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on order.
What? Edward, this is sensitive, so it will be first and last email depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person that has been there and seen it all as a former staff at Zorro. The material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein home as my insurance in case of future litigations against Epstein. Sorry, no questions. What is damning about yet to be written? Did you know somewhere in the hills outside Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey, Madam G, both died strangulations during rough fetish sex. Here are the video footage of such. Oosh, what? Please arrange for 1 Bitcoin. The USB will be sent to your attention by when I courier upon. What the fuck?
Of Jeffrey and Madam G. The sender claimed the girls died by strangulation during rough and claimed possession of 7 videos depicting minors and demanded 1 Bitcoin worth approximately $8,000 at the time in exchange for information. Very fast way to lose all credibility, in all honesty, but Aragon forwarded the email to the FBI, and he says he knows the sender's identity and shared it with the FBI agent, and he said he never heard from the Bureau. So those are 2 different tips, 2 separate sources. 0 follow-up from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You know, that their whole job, I think, is to investigate stuff like this. I thought, at least. I'm pretty sure. I didn't learn that in school. I was homeschooled, by the way. I didn't learn that in school. I've just heard around the block about that. Internal federal communications from December of 2019 confirmed agents had not searched the New Mexico property yet. Both tips sat in FBI files for 6 years. It took a fucking act of Congress to get them out. And on November 19th, 2025,
It was 24/7 homeschooled.
there was an act of Congress. Thank you, Rokana. Thank you, Thomas Massey. Obviously, they got a 30-day deadline. The DOJ violated that deadline and released files in 5 batches over 2 months. And then final batch came out, millions of pages. The very tips about the Zorro Ranch were public for the first time. With the files that came out, we were overloaded with emails. Talking about emails, there's one familiar last name on an email linked to the Zorro Ranch that kind of changes everything, I would say, because it just adds a whole other level to the fucking
Okay. Now I want to see.
conspiracy. It really isn't a conspiracy at this point. It's just unfortunate reality, I guess. On September 8th, 2019, less than 1 month after Epstein died in a Manhattan jail cell, the assistant United States attorney at the Southern District of New York wrote an email about the New Mexico investigation. Her name was Maureen Comey. She graduated from William and Mary in 2010 and was Pi Beta Kappa, then Harvard Law 2013, and joined the Southern District in 2014, becoming an assistant U.S. attorney in 2016, and by 2019, she was one of 3 lead prosecutors on the Epstein case, alongside Alex Rossmiller and Allison Moe, all working under the Public Corruption Unit. Jeffrey Berman was the U.S. attorney who announced the charges. In her September 8th email, Comey confirmed that she had secured an agreement from New Mexico Attorney General Hector Baldera's office to halt the state's investigation. The email said, in essence, they agreed to cease any investigation into sex trafficking and share whatever they had gathered to date regarding sex trafficking activity with our office. And that seems confusing, okay? As someone who would like to see an investigation take place. The stated justification was that the parallel investigations could create conflicting witness testimony that defense lawyers might exploit. Epstein he died though. There were, as far as I'm aware, there was no defense lawyers.
Bro, the whole attorney shit judge and stuff in America is so fucked up, man.
Because he's dead. Because he died. Anyways, Maureen's father is James Comey, who served as director of the FBI from 2013 to 2017. No formal conflict of interest challenge was ever filed regarding the family connection, and when subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee, James Comey responded under penalty of law that at no time during his service at the DOJ or the FBI did he recall any information or conversations related to Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. The committee accepted the response and withdrew the subpoena. By September 17, 2019, New Mexico had transferred every...
They always say they don't know until they get busted.
To the SDNY police reports, recorded witness interviews, correspondence among state agencies, and documents related to Epstein's leasing of public lands. Everything was transferred. Balderas told reporters he was unaware that federal investigators provided any information to New Mexico officials that could have led to criminal prosecutions, and he called the cooperation a one-way relationship. He told NBC News that federal prosecutors essentially gutted our ability to aggressively seek justice for victims. And then he added, we had taken statements involving child trafficking and we had obtained corroborating records that confirmed an illicit enterprise. In July of 2020, Balderas wrote to the SDNY requesting civil forfeiture of the ranch, and he received no response. 4 months after Epstein's death on December 19, 2019, the prosecution team sent a confidential 86-page memo to U.S. Attorney Berman titled, Investigation into Potential Co-Conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein. It contained statements from 24 women who reported being abused as minors and 14 women who reported being abused as adults, along with an analysis of whether or not certain Epstein associates and employees may or may not be held criminally liable. The legal analysis section is almost entirely redacted, and nobody besides Ghislaine Maxwell has been charged to date. So there's no co-conspirators, but there is co-conspirators, but it's all redacted? What are you talking about?
And she is just yapping.
What the f is happening right now? Maureen Comey went on to successfully prosecute Maxwell, securing a conviction in December of 2021. She received consistently outstanding performance reviews over nearly a decade, and in 2024, she was named co-chief of the Public Corruption Unit. On July 16, 2025, she was fired by email at approximately 5 p.m., citing Article 2 of the Constitution. No cause was given. Firing came 1 day after supervisors asked her to lead a major public corruption case and 3 months after her latest outstanding performance review. Comey filed a federal lawsuit challenging the termination in September of 2025 and joined Patterson Belknap as a partner in white-collar defense in February 2026. The email and the sequence of the events, I would say, speak for themselves. New Mexico had an active investigation with victims'
Now I got lost. Is she good or bad, this attorney?
Statements and corroborating records. The SDNY said, stop, we'll handle it. They took everything. They searched absolutely nothing. They shared nothing back. The ranch sat untouched for 7 years. They also sold the ranch. And when they finally started looking, people lose their jobs.
And who bought the ranch?
Citing article
Because the stuff inside are still the same. New pedophile bought the ranch.
2 of the Constitution. It is so obviously a cover-up, dude. So fucking obviously a cover-up. It's a Democratic hoax. You're a fucking Democratic hoax. You're a fucking idiot. In February of this year, New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres ordered the State Department of Justice to reopen the criminal investigation into Zorro Ranch, citing information in the released files that, in his word, warranted further examination. On March 9th, 7 years after Jeffrey Epstein's arrest, the New Mexico Department of Justice, State Police, and Sandoval County Sheriff's Office and a fire and rescue K-9 unit conducted the first ever law enforcement search of the property. They brought cadaver dogs and ground penetrating radar, and the search was conducted with the cooperation of the current owners, the Huffines family. No remains have been found so far. By the way, I mentioned current owners. It's not Epstein's estate. The ranch was sold in August of 2023 to a Dallas real estate developer and former Texas state senator named Donald Huffines. It was sold through an LLC called San Rafael Ranch that was created 1 month before the purchase of the property. Property has been renamed Rancho de San Rafael, and Huffines says its intended purpose is a Christian retreat. His public statement says, 4 years after Mr. Epstein's death, the Huffines family purchased property listed at a public auction whose proceeds benefited his victims, that's awesome. And the New Mexico legislature has launched a bipartisan truth commission led by Representative Andrea Romero with subpoena power and a $2 million budget to hire investigators, attorneys, and staff. It is referred to as a survivor-centered inquiry. We should have a preliminary report in July of 2026 with a final report by the end of this year. As for all the Zorro scientists, Joey Ito resigned from MIT the day after the New Yorker exposed him. Lawrence Krauss was ousted from Arizona State amid his own misconduct allegations. Martin Nowak is on paid administrative leave at Harvard for the second time. Leon Botstein is under investigation at Bard with faculty calling for his resignation. Mark Tremo left UCLA and Jack Horner left Chapman over Epstein ties in March of this year. George Church is still at Harvard somehow. Steven Pinker is still at Harvard somehow. Gerald Sussman is still at MIT, and none of them have faced any formal institutional sanctions. By the way, Harvard and MIT are both defendants in a March 2026 federal lawsuit filed by multiple former Epstein victims, with the lead attorney Roberta Kaplan saying, "This lawsuit isn't simply about one man's horrific actions, it is about a systemic failure of institutions and individuals to protect the vulnerable." So in reality, we will probably never really know what exactly happened there, but hopefully we get some information in July and more by the end of this year following the new investigation into the Zorro Ranch. We know the f***er built a building on the property to house young women and had a barn that concealed an incinerator and was funding scientists at Harvard and MIT with millions of dollars to research genetics and transhumanism. And Epstein is quoted as saying he wants to seed the human race with his DNA, and he's a sex trafficker. So like, I get where people are coming from with the conspiracies, and I don't understand why this is gone.
So, to conclude this video, he put out that Epstein had a ranch in New Mexico where he does all his pedophile stuff that he did in every other place too. The only difference is they didn't investigate it. All those scientists were pretty much just filler. Didn't really have anything to do with the ranch. So, nothing really new, right? We knew about the ranch, but there's nothing new, but still. Decent video, I would say, decent video. And now, guys, I go to sleep. So, I thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you haven't yet. Leave a sub in case it haven't. I can't speak anymore. Just leave it, guys. I just leave it. I gotta go to bed, man. Good night, man. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.